I want to share with you a warm-up for your handstand practice. This is a fairly long warm-up, so this is for those times where you're feeling a little bit tighter than usual. Maybe you just have a little bit of extra time and you want to spend more time getting ready. But this just covers all the areas that we need for our handstand practice. So we're going to start with some breathing. I want you to inhale, and as you do, you're going to lift your chest, rotate your thumbs out, and exhale. So we're using your breath here to help expand and open up your chest. And then we're going to move on to some head nods. So looking up and then looking down. See if you spilled something on your shirt. Just looking up and down. Try and make this nice and relaxed. Like, don't hold too much tension in your neck as you're doing this. It's not a high tension exercise. Feel there's a lot of tension in your neck. Try and let some of that go. Let's move into head circles. So I'm going to look down, I'm going to look over, shoulder, up at the ceiling, over, shoulder, and around. And if you find there's an area where you're finding it's painful, then don't go into that area. So just make the circle a little smaller. If there's a little bit of discomfort, that's okay. You can kind of play with going into that area a little bit. But try and avoid anything that's painful. And we'll go the other direction. So down, looking over your shoulder, looking up, over this shoulder. Looking to see if you spilled anything on your shirt. That's always the moment when I'm teaching a class and I realize I have a big thing of peanut butter or something. Good. Let's move into shoulder circles. So I'm going to start going backwards. And again, this isn't like maximum tension, right? It's nice and relaxed. Trying to move your shoulder blades as much as you can. So try bringing awareness to each part of that circle. So as you come up, can you feel it going up as you squeeze your shoulder blades together? Is it nice and smooth? And as you come down, I can already feel like as I'm coming down, there's a little bit of jumpiness. So I'm just going to play, repeating that little part of the movement, maybe going slower till I can smooth that out a little bit. Really getting that connection and the awareness. There we go. And so now it feels a little bit smoother. I'm going to bring awareness to your arms. Do you find that you're letting that elbow bend kind of happen? right? I don't want your arms to be, tight, but I want the movement to be coming from your shoulders. So your arms are relaxed, but it's your shoulder blades coming up and down. It gets that movement. And then let's go forward. So in a normal handstand warm-up, if you're not following along from a video, you can start doing some of these exercises and feel where you need to focus. So if you start doing your shoulder circles and you're like, whoa, my shoulders feel a little off today, spend more time there. They're feeling pretty good. You can move on pretty quickly. So a big part of the warm-up is it's your opportunity to self-assess. See what needs a little more attention and what things you can just do a little bit of and move on. Let's go into arm circles. So for these, we're going to go nice and slow. We're going to bring our arms up. I'm going to reach as high as you can. And as you do that, try not to let this rib lift and your back arch. So your ribs are staying down, but you're reaching as high as you can. And then we're going to circle. And we're thinking about getting our arms back as far as we can. We're trying to make these circles as big as possible. So reaching up and back. Then you might find some clicking or popping as you're doing this. That's okay as long as there's no pain with that. But if you find there's one area, okay, so for me there, keeps popping on that area, I can just try and relax it a little bit. Do that same motion a few times. And now you can see that clicking there that I was experiencing has disappeared. So sometimes just finding that part of the circle that you're having trouble with and doing it, repeating it a few times can really help. So we'll go forwards now. And this time, as you're bringing your arms up, squeezing your shoulder blades together, making that circle as big as possible. So we're going to go into a little bit of side bending, and this exercise is really great because it gets a little bit more through the lats, which can really help when we're trying to get into a good handstand position. So for this one, you're going to start with your hands on your head. You're going to breathe in and be as tall as possible if someone's pulling the top of your head up towards the ceiling. And then you're going to bend to the side. Try not to shift your hips as you do that. So make it a nice side bend. Once you go to a nice position, you're going to extend your arms and feel that stretch all the way down there. Bring your arms back and coming back to standing. So inhale nice and tall. Bending over to the side. Extending your arms. And back. Let's do a few of these. And as you extend your arm, you can play with rotating a little bit. Just finding anything that feels like, oh, that feels like it needs a little stretch. Let's go one more this side. And back. So we're going to do a little bit of work for our spine and our hamstrings now. And so this is some unweighted Jefferson curls. And so the idea with this is I'm going to do it with straight legs. But if you need to bend your legs, go ahead. So it's not super strict on that form. All we're going to do is we're going to look up, Then we're going to bring our chin down, and we're going to think about rolling one vertebrae at a time so I can feel one part of my spine bending. And I'm really working these muscles here. And once I get to this point, it's not just about relaxing, okay? I'm actively trying to pull my arms down, okay? So I'm trying to reach my forearms to the floor. Hold for a few breaths before returning back up. So same thing as I'm rolling up. I'm trying to roll one part of my spine. I'm all the way to the top. I'll do a couple more of those. So I'm trying to keep my legs locked out to get that really good hamstring stretch. If you need a slight bend, it's okay. But you want to work towards being able to do this with locked out legs. And then when you get down, see if you can reach even closer than last time. And push your feet into the floor, roll up. And we'll do one more. So we're going to go down onto the floor. We're going to do a little bit of work on pelvic rotations. So knees bent, feet planted on the floor. You can place your fingers on your hip bones. And all we're going to do at first is we're going to rotate your hip bones away from you, from your head. So more into that anterior tilt position. And then you're going to rotate your pelvis, your hip bones towards you, okay? You're going to tilt them towards you, and that you should feel your lower back's pushing into the floor as you do that. So away, you feel your lower back come off. And then back, feeling it pushing down. So away. And as you do this one, try and relax into the floor. I'm going to come up onto your hands and knees. We're going to do a nice wrist warm up. So hands flat on the floor. I want you to think about feeling your knuckles down, feeling the heel of your hand in the floor. When I say knuckles, I mean that area along here where your calluses are. So I want you to feel that in the floor. I want you to feel your heel of your hand on the floor and feel your fingers. And we're just going to rock gently back and forward. At this stage, your main focus is don't let your heel of your hand come off the floor as you rock forward. Try and maintain, okay, both in the knuckles and in the heel of your hand as you're rocking back and forward. So just starting nice and gentle. I'm going to add a little bit of active work into this. So from this forward position, I'm going to push down with my fingertips, pushing down a little bit with the knuckles to bring myself back. From here, I'm going to grip with my fingers and pull slightly. Use these muscles in here to pull myself forward. I'm going to push myself away and pull myself forward. So this work is building up the strength in your hands and your fingers and your forearms. It's going to really help you balance upside down. And at the same time, we're just warming up all the tissue in our same area to get ready to do handstands. Okay, let's turn your fingers out to the side. So same thing here, you're going to push down and then we're over to one side. Again, keeping that heel in contact with the floor and push to the other side. So we're just pushing gently from side to side. If you were just to do one part of your warm-up for your handstand practice, I would recommend it being your wrist prep. Turn your fingers to face your knees. And this one can be quite intense depending on how much grip work you do or how tight you are at this side of your hands. So you need to place your hands closer to your knees, put a little less weight on them, that's fine. But if it's comfortable, you can have them a little further forward and then sitting back. Feel that stretch. Take a couple of deep breaths and just try and let this relax through here. And then same thing, we're going to push with our fingers to come forward and then try and pull back. Push and pull. Good. You should feel like you're getting a little bit of work going on your arms now. And shake that out. We'll do a couple more. Backs of your hands on the floor. So fingers towards the knees, backs of your hands on the floor. And you're just going to stretch back slightly. Again, this can be pretty intense if you're not used to taking weight on this part of your hand. So again, if you need to, place your hands close to your knees, put a little less weight on your wrists. The goal of this is to build a little bit of strength, a little bit of mobility in your wrists. Okay, if you do too much too soon, and just go put all your weight on your hands when you're not ready for that, that's when it can lead to some kind of wrist pain or issues. So build it up slowly. Good. I'm going to do a couple more things for our hands. So the first one, you're going to place your hands, your shoulders over your hands just in front of your knees. And we're going to push up, call these finger push-ups, up to your fingers. You're going to slowly lower down until your hands almost touch the floor, and then back up. So we're not just letting ourselves drop down. Okay, we're slowly lowering and then pushing back up. And this is a great one for building strength in your fingers and forearms. You're going to reach your hands a little further forward for this last one. And we're going to keep that knuckle area down where calluses are. And we're just going to pull our fingers towards there. Extend them, pull, and extend. So this is important because your fingers do a lot of the work when you're trying to balance in your handstand. And so you want that control. Awesome. So I like to shake that out. Myself a big hug. Okay, and now I'm feeling pretty ready for my handstand practice. So at this point you might feel, oh, I'm still a little tight in my shoulders. You might want to do a little bit of extra shoulder mobility work. I'm gonna share that in another video. But everything now should feel pretty ready to spend some time upside down. So enjoy your handstand practice, and thank you for watching.